So I've been on YouTube for 16 years and I made my first viral video when I was 13. And now for the last 3 years, I've been making over $1 million a year. And I haven't touched a script, a voiceover, or even edited a video in all that time. This video isn't about how to make more money on YouTube. And it's definitely not about chasing trends or going viral. It's about how to build systems so the money comes in without you constantly having to grind for it. Here's 16 lessons that took me 16 years to learn so you don't have to. Let's get into it. All right, guys. So let's begin. We have 16 years of YouTube knowledge condensed in however many minutes this takes. And this might take 20 minutes, 40 minutes, I don't really know. But I do want to preface and say, if you're not willing to dedicate however many minutes that I've allocated to this video, I'm not really entirely sure where you fit in the spectrum of being successful with YouTube. Because truthfully, the best thing that you can do as an individual who's looking to do something correctly, to accelerate that timeline, to shorten the runway, is to consume this kind of content. People who have actually been through what you're about to go through. And more importantly, people who have failed tremendously, who have so much wisdom to share with you as a person who's striving to succeed, right? To be in their place. And so these videos are like hacks. They're like cheat codes for people who are genuinely interested in making it work, to build financial freedom, to build success online, to build a YouTube channel that's profitable, sustainable, automated, right? You can do this stuff all on your own. You can figure it all out on your own, or you can just consume these videos and make it work, a lot easier, a lot faster. So guys, 16 years of YouTube knowledge, from awkward teen uploading videos at 13 to multi-channel owner making over 6 figures a month. This isn't going to be a highlight reel. It's just a roadmap condensed into a single mirror board. These are called mirror boards, by the way. If you absorb this and act now, you will collapse the time and shorten the runway of your success. And I absolutely guarantee it. You will be able to do 16 years in less than 1 year. Instead of me going through all the bullshit that I have, you guys can condense it and consolidate it extremely, all right? Here's me at 14 years ago making my videos. I consider this viral. It's not really viral, but it was actually making me money. I was able to sell my designs. I was teaching people like animations and Photoshop, and I was selling my designs and making like thousands of dollars at a very, very young age. So I knew right away that this stuff worked. And all the way to now, building up channels and generating thousands of dollars. So guys, also just want to preface, if you guys are interested in learning directly from me, yours truly, I do actually happen to go live on my free school community. There's the first link in the description. I recommend everybody who watches this video, just click the link and join. Again, if you don't have the patience, if you don't have the willpower to go through and literally consume an entire free course that I've given here, so much free valuable content. It's all condensed, again, consolidated, only relevant information. Anything that's outdated is gone. You have an entire roadmap here for free, and you have the ability to be mentored, again, for free. 2 times a week I go live. Nobody's offering this for free, their own personal time. And I do it because the amount of people that I've been able to help on these calls is insane, to either shift trajectory completely and help them on a new path of the channel that's actually working, or assist them on their current trajectory, whatever channel they have. And so all in all, it just makes most sense. So this is going to be the YouTube MBA that I personally never had, and I wish I did. There was no mentors and gurus back there when I started. It didn't exist. And now there's a lot of them, and there shouldn't be a lot of them. I'll speak about that. So guys, let's start off with the first one, which is your video will suck and you need to post it anyway. This is a mindset shift that most of you need to have. All right. Perfection is just procrastination masked. That's all it really is. You need to start before you're actually ready. All right, this is the main concept I really want to drill down everyone's throats, because there's no real good time to start anything. All right, those who procrastinate are always going to be further behind than those who just take action. All right, the people who obsess over the speed to implementation are the people that will succeed. If you have 2 people, one person that decides to take a year or 2 years or 3 years to perfect that one thing and finally launch, is likely to fail or likely to do a lot worse than somebody who, will call them the hungry, ambitious one, who is not really planning, who's not really taking the time to go through all the perfection mechanisms and is just implementing. And he or she is probably going to hit his head once or twice or 10 times over. But eventually they're going to make it. And they're going to make it a lot quicker than the one person who sat there trying to overly perfect the one thing, which again is just typically somebody masking their procrastination as perfectionism. We all have this issue. I grew up with 2 parents that were absolute perfectionists. And because of that, I obviously embodied that myself. I really was cursed with that for a very long time, and I had to find this balance. And so what I want to say here, like if you're looking to do something like this, One of the things that will absolutely kill your channel is the idea of making it perfect, choosing the right niche the first time, picking the right video every single time. It's not going to happen. The way to succeed is through failure. And the thing here is there's no such thing as actually failing. There's no such thing as failing. There's only succeeding and learning. So when I say by failing, I literally mean by implementing, falling on your feet, standing back up, and learning from your previous failures, your mishaps, right? That's how this business is done. You need to get out of your head and realize that the most money comes from the people that just try, right? So your first 10 uploads are going to be the training grounds. Don't expect anything. I had some students, they had 3,000 or 5,000 views in the first 3 videos, or 4 or 5 videos, something like that. And they're like, this is not that great. I've seen other channels do better. Guys, comparison is the thief of joy. We all know this, right? So don't compare to other people. Realize that everyone's in their own lane. And most channels don't succeed in general. And so don't compare yourselves to the 1% of channels that did exceptionally well, exceptionally quick. That's not a good reference metric, right? These are outliers. So compare yourself to the 100 channels that have done the same niche as you and see how you're doing comparatively to them, not the 1, 2, 3 channels that happen to succeed, right? Nobody is going to remember your first post, but it allows you to unlock the next 1,000, all right? So one point in time, this is you, whether it's the male or female version. And then after upload 100, this will be you again, whether the male or female version of this. But guys, to take yourself from a sad person to a happy person, it just is going to take hard work, consistency, and effort. All right. And it's not even that hard once you systemize, and we'll talk about that as well. And that brings us down to point number 2, that consistency will always supersede talent. All right. Talent is something that kind of spikes once, but discipline tends to compound forever. Right? So the person who is talented will always have that competitive advantage, that tactical advantage, because the things that they're doing will come to them maybe more natural, more easy. But that's not what keeps them in the game. That's not what helps them succeed. Discipline, consistency, determination, willpower, all these things are what helps or allows someone to be successful. Just because you're talented at something doesn't mean you're guaranteed to succeed. You have obviously a leg above the competition because it just comes to you easier, but it's not what actually makes money. It's not what actually allows you to succeed. So you showing up for years when other people ghost after weeks, right? So for example, I know a lot of gurus in the space that I watch very closely, everybody in the space, to see what they're doing, what they post. And one thing I've noticed in the last maybe 6 months, probably over 50% of them, 50% of people that I was following closely have completely dropped off, haven't posted in 6 months, 4 months, 8 months. They completely dropped off because they realized, okay, there's quite a bit of friction for me to get this achieved result, this ideal result. And so because there's this friction, it must not be worthwhile. It must be too late. It must be XYZ reasons and excuses. And so they just fall off, right? Because they're not seeing the rewards, and they cannot have this delayed gratification mindset. They cannot understand that the runway is there for a reason. They need to walk this runway. They need to just keep doing it until it works. And most people just don't get that. The only creators who lose are, again, the ones who quit. That's it. And algorithms, they also love patterns, guys. Weekly uploads are going to always do better than this random posting schedule. And by the way, at first, it's okay. You can do whatever you want. You can post one video today, another video in 2 weeks, another video 2 days after that. It's fine. But once you get past 10, 20, 30 videos, you want to have a system in place, right? You want to actually have an algorithm pattern, right? They actually will read the patterns of how often you're posting. And the more consistent you are, the more predictable you are, the more they will favor you. All right. That moves on to number 3. YouTube is going to reward you for your hooks, not your effort. Now, let me take a second. I'm not saying here by any means that you should not put effort in your videos. That's not what this means. I'm going to kind of go through a few more things here because I'm going to decipher a few of the words that I've used. Quality doesn't win, curiosity does. So again, I'm not going to sit here and say quality doesn't win, because that's one of the main reasons why my students do so incredibly well, is because we post really high quality videos. But there's something else that will always supersede quality, which is curiosity. All right, curiosity is one of the most pinnacle emotions that you can evoke from a person who's looking to watch your content. If you can draw curiosity from a viewer as they're scrolling on this sea of videos that are on their screen, this infinite sea of videos, and you cause enough curiosity for someone to stop, to analyze your thumbnail, to then analyze your title, and then choose to click on your video because of the sheer curiosity, you've won. Even if the thumbnail was not that great, or the title was not that great, or the video is not that great, you won because curiosity supersedes. So I always opt in for curiosity as the top of funnel, and then after that, everything else. But still, we maintain quality, okay? So for example, how Louis Vuitton was funded is an example of a mock video, or the homeless teen who created Louis Vuitton. I never knew as a teenager who started Louis Vuitton, right? XYZ curiosity points are drawn. Or how was Nike built, right? That's one mock example of a very boring packaging, very boring title, very boring thumbnail, versus how a kid with $0 created Nike. Again, now there's so much curiosity in this title and packaging. So the best content will tank unless you fix the title and thumbnail, otherwise known as the packaging, right? Unless you actually put time and creativity into giving the viewer a reason to click. You need to sell people on your videos. This is what we do. We don't actually sell physical things. There's no barter exchange physical, but we sell through emotions. You have to sell them on a reason to click on your video versus someone else. And guys, hooks are 80% of the game. Hooks are the beginning of your video. The first 30 seconds, the first 60 seconds, the first 3 to 5 seconds. These are hooks. You need to learn how to write them like your channel depends on it. All right, because it absolutely does. The outcome of your channel will depend on your ability to hook somebody in. All right. Check this out, for example. Here's 2 examples of the first 30-second graph over here. This one versus this one. So this one went off and did hundreds of thousands of views, which actually translated to thousands of dollars. This one didn't go past 5,000 views. Why? Simple. Because the first 30 seconds sucked versus the first 30 seconds here was much better. So I tell students the minimum you should strive for is 75%. This is a perfect estimate right here, a perfect execution of the first 30-second graph. If you're getting anything less than that, it's unlikely that your video will go viral. It doesn't mean it's not going to go viral. This is not the do or die tell of a video going viral, but YouTube really favors the first 30-second graph, and not many people out here are talking about this. And I think it's extremely relevant and very, very important topic, and also important skill set to learn, your hooks. All right. So for example, you guys can study Mr. Beast or Vox or this channel, master the art of tension in one sentence. All right, so your first sentence, your first breakout sentence, how do these channels here do this, and how can you implement it on your channel in your respective niches? All right, moving on to number 4. Boring niches will print money if they're packaged correctly. All right, so for example, we have a channel like this, why every country is in debt and who do they owe? It's pretty boring. Like, it's not boring, but it's really pretty boring. But because it's done in this kind of fun 2D animation style, you could tell there's like a bit of whimsical humor in there, etc. It did really well. 1.6 million views in 4 months. By the way, in the politics niche, that's ridiculous. Like, that's a lot of money that they've made just from 1.6 million views. Probably around like $20,000-ish came out from a video that probably cost them $100 to make. Then we have celebrities, right? So taking something that's kind of boring in a sense, like, it's not that it's boring, but you know, the day in the life of Elon Musk, cool, but not that fantastic. But the thing is, that's going to do well because he's very popular. But when you talk about finances, right, when you add a financial component to this, right? So instead of just focusing on the flashy, you can focus on the finance, right? So for example, taking a topic that's normally just a basic topic, it's maybe going to pay you between $3 to $5 per 1,000 views. Adding something to do with finance is automatically going to spike your RPM. So now instead of just talking about a celebrity topic, which is $3 to $5, I'm talking about how they spend their money, which now upped it to about $5 to $8 per 1,000 views, simply by just redirecting the topic itself, but still utilizing public figures such as Elon Musk or Drake or whatever else it is. So this simple tweak can potentially 50 to 100% increase your RPM just with this minor change. All right. So niches like taxes, government benefits, insurance, they feel dry, but they convert like crazy if done, again, if packaged correctly. Your job is basically wrap the boring in irresistible storytelling. All right. And think Netflix docuseries and think about credit cards and stuff like that. Something like this, stocks explained with bananas. All right. This video literally got 700,000 views in 3 months. Crazy. Or, you know, how Donald Trump doubled his money in a year, 1 million views in 7 days. These topics are relatively boring per se, but they're packaged incredibly well. And that's what works. Moving on to number 5. All right. Virality does not necessarily mean income. There's not an actual direct correlation and correspondence to the income. Let me explain. Let's say your most viral video made you $27, but your funnel can extract $12,000. This is an actual example of a student who made $27 in AdSense, but made $12,000 in the back end because of the systems and mechanisms we put in place for him to sell externally. All right. Views always feel good. It's great, but systems are what pay out. Now, a viral video is essentially a lottery, and a monetization plan is a business. So you can go ahead and do YouTube hoping and praying that all your videos go viral, which is fine. or you can actually create a business out of this. This is also what I teach my students. Don't just only rely on, the views, because there's other mechanisms that you can put in place to make more money. So people always ask what happens after the view. Well, it looks like this if done correctly. AdSense is your top of funnel. All right, this is the top of funnel, which is the views. You also get paid on those. Then going down the funnel, we have the product. So imagine you had some sort of product where maybe you actually had a drop shipping store, or you sold some sort of affiliate product, right? Down over here is affiliate. Or then you actually created an email list where you had a newsletter where you kind of inform people on different things that's happening in your niche or industry. And all these newsletters are very powerful because you can sell things on those newsletters. You can even sell advertising space on your newsletters. Very powerful. And then furthermore, once you actually grow a channel, you can then add sponsorships, right? People will pay you, or you can request to get paid for sponsoring the video with their product, their course, their system, their website, their SaaS, whatever it is. There's so many different ways for you to make more money than just relying on AdSense, right? There's a lot more money to be made than just AdSense money. I'm telling you guys, I have one student that makes maybe $1,000 or $1,500 a month in AdSense revenue and over $10,000 in affiliate commissions. So people look at this channel on the front end and be like, this is whack. Like, this is $1,000 a month channel. Fantastic. But he's optimized his AdSense, his back-end revenue system, and he's making over $10,000 a month. All right. Now, number 6, faceless does not mean emotionless. This is a lesson that everyone needs to learn. All right. Your scripts are the soul of the video. You need to inject tension, comedy, story, proper comedy, proper story, not this AI telling BS. You need to know and learn how to prompt AI. Prompt engineering is going to be one of the most powerful skills that you can learn in 2025 and 2026 as everything evolves. The better you are at prompting AI, the more money you're going to make. There's a very direct correlation. The better you are, the better outcome, the better output, the more money you'll make. AI voices are fantastic. Just ensure that you add a lot of emotion and depth to the scripts. So you can use AI voiceovers. Whatever people are telling you about, hey, don't use AI voices, shut up. It works, all right? And I have so much ridiculous amount of evidence to back this up. I don't care what anyone says. Don't listen. Viewers will tolerate an AI voice. This is a fact, but they won't tolerate boredom. And that's why I always say script writing is such a powerful and necessary skill to learn. Mind you, again, AI will do the work for you, and we'll discuss this, but it doesn't mean you just type in, hey, give me a script on this topic and 10, 15-minute topic and just expect it to write something. You have to prompt it exceptionally well, which is what I teach my students. And also, if you join the free school community, I even give you access to my free prompts. These are a version of my free prompts. I have much better ones in my paid program, but these are still exceptionally good. You can take this prompt right here, this script prompt, all the way from top to bottom, and it's going to give you a banger script because it's really well optimized. So always emphasize that the boredom is very important. Don't let your videos get boring. All right, emotion equals retention, and story will beat the software. All right, that's the main thing. So what do you want to use if you want to get good AI voices? I suggest either Artlist, I suggest HeyGen, or 11 Labs. My favorite one for sure is 11 Labs. That's definitely the best one. All right, moving on. We have number 7. All right, volume first and quality second. Again, I want to extrapolate this point a little bit further because I don't think that quality should ever be compromised. But here's the thing. You made 100 plus trash videos and they end up teaching you everything. I'm not saying you have to post 100. You can do significantly less. But guys, through volume will reveal patterns. And then you double down on quality. This is the formula. All right, so quantity isn't lazy. It's the foundation of mastery. All right, and volume sharpens your instinct faster than theory. Let me break this down. All right, so the sheer act of doing something over and over and over again is going to give you a lot more data and evidence to prove whether something is working. All right, so this is a story that I know is spoken by Alex Hormozy. There's 2 groups of people, all right? One group is supposed to be creating a clay pot every single day for the next 30 days, and another group has 30 days to create 1 clay pot. By the end of the 30 days, obviously the results are in. The group of people that had to create a clay pot every single day for 30 days ended up making the best clay pot after 30 days simply because they had so much repetition and experience to solidify their skills in that specific pot making task versus the one person who had to create 1, right? So perfecting one's, going back to the whole perfectionism versus procrastination. This is exactly that point. All right, so simply go after volume, but never try and negate quality. So if you post 100 videos, but you put no effort into any of those videos, they're not going to convert. So by no means am I trying to say just throw spaghetti at the wall and just create shit videos and just post 100 because just to get to the 100 mark, getting to 100 videos doesn't mean anything. Getting to 100 videos while intentionally trying to create good quality videos, still maintaining good quality every single time, is how you grow, is how you learn, is how you get tangible feedback that you can use to obviously grow your channel and make those changes in your videos because you have real feedback, because you made quality videos. So once you actually double down because you've found a few outliers, a few things that you've done consistently that works every single time, using arrows works really well, using this voiceover works really well, using this editing style works really well. Now you can double down, right? And go even further with the quality, but you don't compromise quality. So by no means am I ever going to say anyone like compromise quality. It's not how I operate. All right. Moving on to number 8. You cannot outsource vision. You can, but as a beginner, you can't. I'm just going to be very bold. All right. AI and cheap freelancers don't replace strategy. Unfortunately, you cannot go to AI and say, give me 10 topics on this. You can, it'll be inspiration, but you cannot use it as the end all be all. You need to learn how to actually go out there and learn the skill of topic ideation, learn the skill of optimizing. That's how it's done. All right. Your team can follow clarity, but if you're lost, they're lost, right? You need to be the leader who understands. Right? And creative direction is going to be your superpower. It's something you cannot delegate. I've done so successfully now after years, and you will be able to too as well, right? I have students that have done this, but not within the first year, which is fine because we can delegate everything else. I can automate your script writing, your voiceover, your content creation process, your posting, your project management. You can delegate everything, but you cannot delegate the creative direction. The person who actually comes up with the topics, the one who sees the vision and sees how to inspire the channel and mold the channel into what it should be and also navigate saturation. There's a lot of things you still have to do as a high-level owner and operator, but most of the other stuff, the grunt work, can be delegated. You're going to be the strategist. You're not just a publisher. All right. So step 1, vision, then process, and then output. And that's how it works. Moving on to number 9, curiosity is going to be your oxygen. Let's talk about this, all right? Interesting ideas die, but mysteries live. And let me explain that. I think it was a very tough point to explain because, of course, interesting will always do well. But mysterious is one of those things that's just like this higher power of attraction, mystery, right? The mystery of the unknown. That's why people love these like unsolved mysteries and true crime and stuff, right? Ask yourself the question that they must answer. You must frame a problem that they need solved. All right, every hook is like a cliffhanger. You need to tease the unknown and hide the answers. For example, two videos I found here. What happens if you die on every alien planet? Or what if you spend 5 seconds on Triton, which is some planets, right? So these are two things that just evoke so much mystery and curiosity that they kind of supersede the interesting, right? So this is why I say the mystery, if you can add mystery whenever possible, doesn't relate to every single niche, of course. I'm just trying to teach you something that if you can, always opt in for this, because mystery is one of those like higher superpower emotions that just supersedes so much else. All right. So curiosity is always going to be the oxygen of your channel. And it doesn't have to be mystery, but just anything that is curious, just make them curious to click. You need to sell them. Again, right? Just reiterating. Your channel, number 10, your channel is one video away from changing your life. Now, some of you guys may have heard this. And I hope all of you guys have heard this. And it is the most relevant piece of information. This quote right here is probably one of the most powerful quotes that exist on YouTube today. You are one video away from changing your life. It is so true. It is so absolutely proof. You don't need 100 perfect videos. You just need one breakout hit. One breakout hit. All right. And I'm going to show you guys what that looks like. I've watched students go from invisible to 5K months in literally weeks. Breakouts are never linear as well. They're usually explosive. One great idea, one moment, and then boom, life has officially changed. Every upload that you post is essentially a lottery ticket if the fundamentals are done correctly. For example, take a look at this. After posting for months, all it took was one video to pop off. Posting, nothing. All right, little spike of emotion, little spike of dopamine, and nothing. Now, most people quit here. Even more people quit here. Even more people quit here. Even more people quit here. And the issue is people will see this and they'll be like, wow, the 1% that stuck around this long will see this and they'll be so excited. And then it'll fall off. And then that dopamine rush will go away. And when that dopamine rush is gone and they see they have to keep posting for another 2 months until they finally get traction, that's not that attractive. It's really not that attractive, right? So the real issue is that people are not willing to stick through something until the end. They start something, they stop. They start, they stop. That's their perpetual cycle of existing, where they believe in themselves for such a minuscule amount of time before they can actually yield any results. And because of that, they don't succeed in anything. They get stuck in their 9-to-5 job. They get stuck working for somebody else and building someone else's dream and setting their dreams off to the side because they just cannot fathom the idea of failing. So they just quit. They don't want other people to perceive them as a failure. They don't want to perceive themselves as a failure. So it's just easier to just give up now and just blame some external circumstances. Oh, the channel was spooked and the niche was spooked and my coach told me this. And there's all these ways to excuse failure versus just sticking to it to the end. Because imagine you were all these people that would have done this and quit. And if you just stuck around, you would have literally had almost $40,000 USD in your pocket and counting. That's $40,000 is no joke because that actually came in 2 months. That's 2 months. So would you stick around this entire timeline here if you knew that by the end of it, you had to stick around? And by the way, this graph is not accurate. This is the beginning of a channel. Nobody actually posted till around like January. So it's actually from January till now. So would you stick around all this time if you knew that this was going to happen? Of course you would, but no one can predict the future. No one can actually predict that this would happen. You just have to have this belief system that this works. And why would you be here unless you believed it worked? Why would you do YouTube automation unless you knew for a fact that it worked, unless you had enough data and evidence that proved that this thing worked? And so just because you posted 1 video or 5 videos or 30 videos and it didn't work, it doesn't mean that the business doesn't work. It means you haven't done enough. You haven't posted enough. You haven't optimized enough. You haven't spent enough time like becoming an expert of your niche and understanding your avatar and what they want to watch and what they don't want to watch and how to optimize your videos and how to tweak them so that you can increase your click-through rates, increase your average view duration. There's so many metrics to this, and I don't want to overcomplicate it and make it sound like this astrophysics. It's not. It's really not. But once you just get through the fundamentals, which most people just don't even do, they succeed. This is 99% of people. This is very likely you at some point in time, maybe even now. Maybe you've quit and you're watching this video hoping to have some motivation sparked. This is the person who's right after you, who's going to just keep pushing through. This is this person. I'm on a laptop. I can't do arrows. This is that person. And there's always going to be that person who's willing to just eat shit for a while because they don't have an ego like you do, right? Your ego is destroying your ability to succeed. That's the issue, is we have these unwarranted egos that restrain us from succeeding in such simple things. I have people that are like 65, 62 years old, making money, thousands of dollars on this. I have students that are 18 years old, making money. I have people that have 3 kids, 2 jobs, and love to golf, and have enough time to do this and are making tens of thousands a month. Where's the excuses, right? Just because something didn't work right away, it doesn't mean that it doesn't work. I'm done beating that horse. All right. Number 10, don't fall in love with the niche. Fall in love with what actually works. This is going to be a tough pill to swallow for many people. So I encourage you guys to listen to this. And by the way, if you've left, then good luck. If you're still here, you're an absolute MVP. You're here to win. You're here to win. I think we're like half an hour in. You're here to win because you're willing to even just discipline yourself to stick through a 30-minute video. This guy is probably boring as hell at this point, saying the same shit and whatever. These are the people that succeed, the people that are putting in the hours, the sheer hours. If this inconvenient time of watching my video instead of going out and being with your family and friends and whatever else you could be doing, you're here learning, studying, grinding, building the foundation. People like you are the people that deserve to win. People that have left so far, you cling to ideas that flop. That's ego, not strategy. The market does not give a crap what you like. It only favors what performs. That's the truth. You need to test fast, pivot faster, and there should be no emotional attachments, ever. And be loyal to the results, not fantasies. So many people get caught up because they started a niche, they invested some money, they invested time, and they realize shortly after that it doesn't work and they don't want to move. They don't want to shift or pivot. Number 1, because maybe they're not passionate about anything else. Or number 2, because they've already, again, invested emotion or time or money, obviously. And it didn't work out. So the thing is, there's a time and place for you to move on. And if you choose not to because you have attachment to a certain thing, you will fail. this thing will become a massive, massive money pit. And that's not going to be good for you. All right. So make sure that you guys are really able to let go, put yourself in a place where you treat this thing like a business, not this emotional relationship between you and the channel. You need to learn that. Otherwise, your channel will end up here in the graveyard of failed thumbnails and niches where you just keep on putting in and investing into this thing that's never going to make you money. That's almost like the sunk cost fallacy, right? The sunk cost fallacy is essentially doing something, continuing to double down on something that's not working because you're so far in that you just choose to keep on going because the idea of stopping is way more terrifying than the risk of continuing, which is a fallacy, right? Moving on, guys, we are at number 11. All right. Number 11 is YouTube automation isn't passive until you make it that way. This is a big one. Holy crap, this is a big one. Everyone comes to me, or they'll find an article online, or they'll see a YouTube video and be like, all these fucking gurus and all these people are claiming that YouTube automation is passive, and it's not passive, and it's a big lie, and they're using it to sell you on this dream and this. YouTube automation isn't passive until you make it that way. Let's break this down. All right. Passive income is the byproduct. It is the reward, not the starting point. This is a huge key, guys. You must spend months building the systems in your business before you can step back and this thing can eventually be passive. Most people quit because they try to outsource everything too early. You cannot delegate something you don't understand, which is on a high level, the business. You cannot just outsource this business without understanding it. You need to build workflows. You need to hire slow. You need to test absolutely everything. This is what eventually your workflow should look like. You are the owner sitting here at the top of your little pyramid. Then you have a virtual assistant / project manager who then basically delegates, coordinates, communicates with your editor, your thumbnail artist, your script writer, all this stuff. I didn't add them all here, but the content creation team. And then you have a manager, which is almost like a channel manager, who then takes that content, posts it, handles your comments, handles all the operational stuff. This is your system that you build, which allows you to have passive income. But this doesn't happen at first, because at first it's just you. It's just you, maybe an editor, maybe some AI tools, and all the manual labor that comes with it. But then you start hiring. Then you start delegating. Once you understand it, once you systemize it, once you've perfected something, then you start inserting this and inserting that. And that is how business is done. Any business is done. You don't just jump into something. You don't just start a marketing agency and hire out your Facebook ads. You don't even know what a good Facebook ad is. You don't know what good metrics are. You don't know what a good CAC is or what a good CPL. You don't know what these metrics are because you have no baseline of understanding. So how can you say to that client that what they're doing, what they're receiving is good when you don't even know yourself, right? That's just not how business works. Moving on. Saturation is a big, bold lie. Boring content is the real problem. So I'm a firm believer that I don't believe in market saturation. I only believe in market sophistication. When someone says that something is saturated, that is just an excuse for not understanding sophistication. Let me talk about it. You don't lose because of competition. You lose because you are forgettable. You are resisting the necessary actions that are needed on your channel to succeed, which is to evolve. All right. Saturation just means lazy creators flooded the niche, which is fair. Lazy creators means you found something that was working. It was working once upon a time, and all of a sudden everyone's jumped in because it was a good niche, and they flooded the market with shit content that mimics good quality content. And now no one can tell it apart. And now no one's interested in watching it because there's a big combination of massive amount of garbage content, a little bit of good content. No one knows the difference. And yeah, the niche is kind of saturated. Just people all of a sudden overnight stopping interested in that niche? No, they still are, but they're just overwhelmed with the amount of garbage content that's flooded, and they just stop watching, which leaves you, the owner, the responsibility to understand sophistication. How can you sophisticate this market? How can you evolve in this market to create a brand new realm, a brand new outcome, I guess, right? A new ideation for the style of content, right? So for example, I know that the every ... explain niche is the new iteration of all these different documentary styles, like explaining all these things or compilations. They've really wrapped the same topics in a brand new packaging, and it worked 10x, like 100, maybe even 1,000x better than it ever did before. Something that has been super saturated for a very long time, you could just package it completely differently with the every ... explained, and very likely it'll work. I have a student who just started a Harry Potter channel and a GTA channel, which prior I've had people start a Harry Potter channel and a GTA channel. Both of them failed completely, miserably. And now the Harry Potter one got monetized in 4 videos, has already made over $1,000, 4 videos. The GTA one has 3 videos, is basically monetized, and that's within 3 videos and 4 videos respectively. It's the same niche that's saturated, as many people look at, but it works. Why? Because this is what sophistication looks like, is understanding that when something becomes less desirable, you have to still find your way to evolve, because the idea, the overarching idea and niche is still of interest. It's just the execution has been flooded and people become acclimated and people become bored and annoyed by the same content over and over again. So something new comes out in the market and they're excited. All right. Originality plus effort equals 1%, the amount that arises above the noise. Don't fear niches, just fear mediocrity. That's the main thing. So you look at something like this. This is what separates the poor, middle class, and the rich versus 15 things that poor people don't know about making money. This is an example of taking something that's already saturated and just making it new, packaging it differently. All right. And for example, here, this is a student that we've had to repackage. He's in the motivation niche. We've had to repackage his thumbnails 3 times. We tried a whole batch of like 10, 15 videos with one style, didn't work. Another batch with different thumbnail styles, didn't work. Then we tried a new editing style and it didn't work. And on the 4th try, we finally found the golden goose. We finally found a style that works incredibly well. And now he jumped from $100 a month. He was making $100 to $300 a month average to 6,500 euros, which is about $7,500 USD, almost a $100,000 a year channel overnight, basically, simply because we kept on tweaking. We kept on trying to evolve the channel and find the sophistication that the market actually wanted and responded correctly to. That's how this shit is done. All right, guys. Number 14, your beliefs limit your channel more than the algorithm ever will. I'm going to go drop some bars on belief systems. Maybe this YouTube thing is not for me, and I kind of already discussed this, but I'm just going to beat it one more time. You blame the algorithm, but deep down, you doubted yourself. You always actually doubted yourself. You came into this with the wrong mindset, very likely. Your confidence is going to be the growth engine, and self-doubt is the algorithm killer. It's just fancy said, right? Your beliefs are going to shape your behaviors, and your behaviors shape your uploads, and your uploads shape your success. So this is the top of funnel, and this is the bottom of funnel. Your belief systems are on top, all right? The way that your belief systems operate are going to actually dictate and determine how you create your content. And how your content is created based on your belief systems will obviously ultimately determine the outcome. And so at the top of funnel, if your belief systems are skewed, if you don't truly in your heart, in your brain, in your mind, believe that you can and will be successful, or not even can, but rather will be successful, all these actions that you take, all these videos you create, all these people you hire, and all these videos you're trying to make are going to be at risk simply because you have the wrong mental frame. Your mental frame will determine your outcome 100% of the times. All right. So that's why even like, for example, in my free school community, before you can even go off and start creating content, you need to go through mindset mastery. This is the prequel to my actual course. All these different things. I have all this like 20-minute course here, 16-minute course here. I saw one like 40-minute course here. I spent so much time for free, by the way. This content's for free. You need to click first link in the description. Just do this because it's going to set you up so correctly. I spent all this time creating all this content because I want you to have the right mindset going into this thing. Your belief system, your mentality, the motivation that you have to do this thing, the clarity you have around this being the vehicle is going to determine your outcome. All right, you need to upgrade your thinking before you upgrade your gear. Doesn't matter about your computer, doesn't matter about your Wi-Fi. If your mindset is not primed for this, you will fail 100% of the time. Your belief will determine your actions, which will determine your uploads, which will determine your results. All right, moving on to number 15, I apologize. Don't be afraid of AI. I don't give a fuck what everyone is saying about don't use AI and these gurus out here. Don't listen to them. I use it on a daily basis. My students use it on a daily basis, and we print tens of thousands of dollars. I have countless students doing over $30,000 a month, bunch doing 10 to 20, and a bunch doing 3 to 5 to 7. Every single one, 100% of them are using almost all AI. AI voiceovers, AI script writing, AI thumbnails. And some of them are using AI editing, probably 2-3%. I'll be very honest. AI editing, for example, like Hedra, you can do like podcast things, influencers, or you can use avatars with like speaking and like lip syncing. So Hedra's a really cool app for that. I wouldn't suggest ever using AI editing, to be very transparent, but there's some niches where it works and it could work exceptionally well, but this is a rare species. But mostly, like I said, 80% AI, 80%. Don't be afraid of it. There's so many gurus claiming it doesn't work. Fuck them. Results supersede authority. I don't care what kind of authority they have. I have so much results to back this up. AI doesn't completely replace, but it's damn near close. And you need to hire and train teams to then learn how to use the AI. Then you can automate, right? So you can actually build out your system to have the best script prompt, to have the best thumbnail prompt, to have the best voiceover. And then you can hire somebody, a virtual assistant / project manager, to run the entire team for you while still using AI. They use your AIs for you. Now you've automated, right? And number 16, guys, and we're done, all right? YouTube changed my life because I committed before it actually made sense. I had zero traction, zero validation, and I still posted. I wasn't inspired. I was disciplined. Everyone doubted me. Literally everybody doubted me. My own family, my friends, no one thought this thing was going to work at all. And I just kept on relentlessly pushing through the pain and the doubt. And I'm sure the same is for you. Probably not many people around you are like, wow, yeah, you're doing this faceless YouTube thing. It sounds so great. And so people are like, what the hell kind of stupid scam have you fallen into again? Very likely. And if that's you and that resonates with you, you're not alone. Most people that I work with say the same thing. They don't have any friends that use YouTube automation. They don't really have many people that believe in them. Some people are lucky. I wasn't. Most people aren't, right? But the thing is, I just kept going and everything changed. And now it will for you too. All right. I remember day one. Oh, only 43 views. Keep going. Guys, everything can change overnight. Like we have now over 1,000 students that have joined my program who have seen life-changing results, whether it's making $1,000 a month or $10,000 a month, and many even doing over $30,000, $40,000 a month. So guys, now that we've gone through this, you have only two choices. And the choices are pretty obvious. The first one is you can continue to do absolutely nothing with the information I've given you. You can go back to working tomorrow. You can go back to serving your boss, back to asking for permission to use the bathroom and go on vacation, and limiting yourself to the few hours that you have after your 9 to 5, 9 to 6 for some of you, to spend time with yourself and with your family to grow and to develop in your relationships and with your family. Or you can even implement 2% of what I mentioned and see a drastic shift in your business, in your life, in your mindset, and the outcome of where you deserve to be. All right, so these are the two options, and they're pretty obvious which one you should take. But at the same time, 98% of you, 99% of you, dare I say, will unfortunately choose path number one. And it's sad. It's really, really sad. But that's just the way that everyone is these days. They see the opportunity, and I've shown you clearly that this thing works, but I've also clearly shown you that there will be resistance. You will have resistance. There will be points in time where you will doubt yourself, where you will doubt this whole business model. You'll see that, wow, there's actually a bit of work involved to make this work. Wow, crazy that there's a work involved to make $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a month, or even $5,000 a month from the comfort of your home, from anywhere in the world. Whether you want to be like where I'm in Austria right now, I live in South Africa in Cape Town as well. I travel to Canada. I can travel wherever I want. I'm bringing this little laptop here and a phone and internet connection, and I can make money. So guys, if this is something of interest to you, the first link in the description is going to take you to my free school community. If you don't want to pay $1 to work with me and learn from me for free, that's fine. The second link is going to be a link to work with us directly. It's a 4-figure investment. We guarantee results in 6 months. You will have a cash flowing machine that's passive and streamlined after around 6 to 8 months, because we work with you hand in hand until you do. There's a guarantee around this thing. So if you guys don't want to work with me and you want to pay any money, that's fine. Join the free school community. And if you're also just interested in consuming more content, a video is going to pop up left or right here about niches that you need to get into right now. So if you're going to take this plunge, you need to know which niches to jump into. I'll see you guys on the next video.